So we got big plans today. Got a little road trip happening right now. You're going to be excited about what we're doing. We're clocking in at 162,906 miles on this vehicle. It's pretty crazy. All right, so we're off on our journey today, and there we go. That's it. All right, so what are we doing today? A little bit of a party going on. So when I pull the vehicle out and I take it down the street far away from my house, that means painting is going to be happening today. And so I'm really excited that I even have the will and determination to work on some stuff today. So, but while we're here, I wanted to show you a little bit of the desert. So I was walking down the block the other day, and one of my neighbors had one of these trunks coming out of his agaves, or I guess this is a century plant. And I was like, haha, your plant's gonna die. And then a week later, this sprung out of my own plant. And somehow it looks like asparagus, right? Has asparagus look, and it actually is from the asparagi or some kind of Latin name. But in any case, this is about as tall as my house, and I'll say, like, I didn't notice it, and then within like 6 days it was 6 feet high, and then all of a sudden, like 3 days later, it was another 2 feet, another 2 feet. Like, it just kept going and going. And then about a week ago, these branches just started coming off, and then they're all gonna bloom, and it's gonna get crazy. So yeah, so I've never had this on my own plants before, but after this all, I'm assuming it's going to fall like a tree, or maybe it will just wilt down. I'm not really sure, but yeah, this plant will be gone after that bloom. It's called the death bloom, I guess, and it happens somewhere around 26 to 30 years. When the plant's that old, then it goes down. And this house was built 26 years ago, so makes perfect sense. So what are we painting today? Well, we are going to attempt to actually paint this today. And I don't want to say I'm forcing myself to hop back into it, but it's kind of a big job. The biggest thing that I'm worried about with this is, they spray it down with oil like a WD-40, because once it's cleaned, it will just rust. And so it's all been sprayed down, and basically I need to make sure that that is taken off the engine as much as possible so I don't have any issues painting. The other thing I'm thinking about is with engine paint, specifically, the stuff I'm using, which, geez, how many cans of VHT can you have? I thought I was going to be doing this a long time ago, and then it just took like, I don't know, a year and a half for the engine shop to finish my engine. It was just kind of insane. But in any case, this should be cured. And so I'm thinking about either heat lamps or renting like an industrial infrared heater. And you could say, oh, well, the first time you start up the engine, it's going to, bake it on. Well, yeah, that's true. It's the time in between then that you bump it and all of a sudden the paint just scrapes off. That's what I'm worried about. So I figured, I'll try to do my best to do some kind of curing to this. At least give it a shot, even if it's just a heat gun that I'm screwing around for 20 minutes, heating it, which I don't think is the right way to do it because it's just too much surface area. Even if I worked on one side at a time, it's too much surface area. So I'm looking at options from either like, some industrial rental company or a Home Depot or Lowe's rental area if they have. And, some of these places do have stuff, so it just depends on the price, what's going on. I also have a electric oven that I could have the door open and like stuff it under here and just get that heat rising onto it. So that would actually work. The only problem is my 240 outlet is back there, and I'm not moving this to cure this. So and I don't have an extension cable. So we'll see. We will see. But this is what we're going to try to attempt and see if we can finish this today. That would be awesome, and I'd feel like I'm moving forward. When it comes to the van, so I talked to a guy that could blast it. Price is right. Hasn't gone up in the last few years because I got quotes on all this stuff before. That's good. Then I had a metal work guy come over, and it's a guy that I've worked with before in the gas tank, and he did an amazing job. And so I started asking him about, what's it going to take care of these holes and do this and fix the front and all that. And, and then I was talking to him about philosophies of like, how far should I take this? Should I take it all the way down the metal? That's what I'd like to do. I'm here. Why not go all the way? And then he's like, well, you are opening up a can of worms, and you're going to find more holes the deeper you go in. And there's even stuff like, if you look inside the doors, there's things sticking out or things that, maybe were covered over on the outside. But, there's all sorts of stuff like this where there's a 1-inch slice coming down here that needs to be fixed. And there's 3 holes up there, and there's a hole in the back corner, and there's a hole in the back corner, and there's all these different areas that need a lot of work done, corners. And so, we started talking about how much is all this stuff going to cost? And, at the end of the day, we're talking, maybe $3,000 plus. And, I already got $2,000 into the metal work on this van, where I redid the dash and fixed some of the doors and got rid of the license plate holder in the back and some different things that I did. And I'm just like, that's $5,000 in metal work instead of just 2. That's a lot. So I was talking to my neighbor Bob, and he was like, you just need to start welding a lot of this crap yourself. And I'm like, yeah, I could do that. And he's like, what's the harm? And I'm always like, oh, I just want to finish and move forward. And he's like, you got this, we'll say, piece of crap at this point that you could learn on. So what are you worried about? Like, who cares if you're, messing around with the floor or whatever? And then we also talked about, like, there's areas here that are a little caved in, and taking a jack underneath and, like, popping some of the stuff and just kind of fixing some things, some general sweeps, if you will, to get this thing into shape. So we're getting there. And I forgot, like, got the floor is like, has some damage that needs to be redone. And so Bob's like, you could just do most of the stuff yourself, and then you could always have someone, polish it up if you want to stop at some point. So I'm taking that advice, and I'm like, okay, that's good. Let's do that. Let's do some of this work myself, which means rolling this out, scraping off the paint where I need to work, and then like just go at it. Because there's probably like 75 screw holes from people like screwing carpet into the ground and things like that could all just be filled and sealed up and stuff like that. And so what better time to learn than on something like this to, work on the floor, figure out how to get these holes done, pop them out a little bit. And then once you figure out, get your chops going, replace the floor, then do the door, some of the critical areas, as you get more confident in what's going on. So that's kind of the idea. The other side of it is, I don't talk much about it on the channel, but obviously I have some, we'll say, physical disabilities that I've had over the years, and I've had some relapses that kind of slowed me down on all these projects. And I was telling my doctor the other day, my therapist, and I'm like, hey, the only thing I might be doing is maybe I'll be on all fours, like doing some welding, whatever, in the back of the van. And she's like, absolutely not. You're at a critical moment here, and you're not going to be doing that to your body. And I'm like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sorry for even thinking about it, So I do have to watch what I'm doing at this moment. So, I figured, hey, what better time to do something than, work on the engine. And that's not too, I got to do some twisting and stuff like that, but not a big deal. So that's what we're doing. All right, so we got the engine wiped down. I'm only painting from here down. I'm not doing this yet because maybe there's a pre-made option ready to bolt on that looks amazing that, you know, I don't have to paint. So we'll see. But and then painting that off the engine will be really easy, so no big deal. I'm using earplugs as my thing of choice. Works great. Scrunch them up, stick it in, expands. You're not going to get any threads, so that's great. So I got that all done. The rest, bigger holes, stuff like this, it's going to be all done with tape it off. So basically we got a lot of taping to do, so we're going to start on that. Alright, so we have this thing all dialed in, everything covered for the most part, and basically we got 10-minute chemical windows, and we're just gonna take our time and do it the best we can. Alrighty, so we got some self-etching primer, and it is etching at the moment. It's looking pretty good. I was actually surprised how well I got behind there. Of course, we'll see when the engine's off there how bad it looks, but yeah, we're doing good. Everything looks nice, and need to wait about 30 minutes, and then we are going to use some engine primer, and then we will use some black pearl. Same thing I used on my 33. So I got plenty of those, and the chemical window has started, and so we're just gonna take it easy and do it as fast as we can, but within the chemical limit. My hand, man, I didn't expect it, but I was having a hard time pushing that button down. My hand got tired really quick. So I'm so used to the automatic, but we'll make it happen. All right, so we got our engine and ammo primer on high heat, and I got 2 nice coats of that on top of our etching primer as suggested. And we have to wait 30 minutes, and then after 30 minutes we're going to start painting this black. And sure, would have been cool to like pop this out in a blue and this is black. Yeah, sure, if I had the engine apart when I did all this, but the engine shop was in control of all this. So I'm kind of glad, actually, in the sense of if I was going nuts, yeah, I would do it all apart, assemble it myself. I didn't want to do that this time, especially since there's not a lot of books or anything on this engine. But now I have the ability to go, hey, I've done it with an engine all apart. I've done it with an engine all put together. Pros and cons in the data bank, file away for next time. And then I get to decide what I want to do. But this ain't bad. This ain't bad. So we'll see how it comes out. This is just a super light coat, so it looks a little bronzish, if you will, but that's the metallics. Once I get some more coats on this, it will turn a little bit darker black. You can see, like right there, it's looking a little black. Over here, still seeing the primer kind of come through a little bit lighter. So I'm gonna have just enough cans to make this thing happen. I got the back pretty good, so surprisingly, but yeah, it's coming together. Well, and there you have it. Pearl black VHT high temperature engine paint, all dialed in. Got the back pretty good. Pretty happy about that. And yeah, we're ready to rock. I'm looking online and there's some stuff that's pretty cheap, like 50, 60 bucks, that looks really good. So instead of spending 50 bucks in paint, just freaking do that. But we will see. Maybe I'll just paint it blue.